Good evening and welcome to the most compelling show on TV, talking about the desk on global television. My name is Anthony Momodi. Welcome to today's broadcast that promises to be very exciting as we look at issues making the rounds on the global scene, and also in Nigeria. We'll be focusing on the home front, but definitely we'll begin from the foreign scene. We'll be looking at issues concerning the ECOWAS bloc, where news coming out from Niger Republic tells us that Abdurrahmani Tiani, the junta leader, is spitting fire, saying that the three countries that exited or that has made their intentions known in existing, the ECOWAS bloc would not in any time return back to the bloc. Also be looking at on the foreign scene, we're still talking Israel. This morning we saw on Global Morning where the envoys of the Palestinian and the Israeli had come to a truce, agreeing that peace is what they need, and they will be sending a message back home. I'll be looking at Egypt. Israel's spy chief who has headed to Cairo, Egypt, for peace talks, and we're expecting the very best. And that's done with the global scene. On the home front, we've got the First Lady, Oluremi Tinubu, urging Nigerians to be patient, that definitely we're all going to smile in the coming days. Not forgetting that just 24 hours back, we had the Emir of Kano sending a message to Mr. President through his wife to tell him to check hunger in the land. Also, we'll be looking at other very interesting stories. Talking about the death of the CEO, the group CEO of Access Bank, in the person of Herbert Igwe, who has been succeeded already. Right now, we have a new person in charge of the Access Holdings. She is Bolaji Agbede, and that's how we'll be looking at that talking point also. And also, recently from the Super Eagles returning back to Nigeria, we've had the big cherry news that the president has led the way in terms of giving the Super Eagles some bit of soccer by giving them award MON, Member of the Order of the Niger, and also flats and lands in the FCT. What a way to celebrate our heroes. And I'm not alone in the studios. I've got my partner in firing line. His name, not a person, but you know him already. Michael Edikan is in the studio with me. And
always a pleasure, Anthony.
Yeah, and he's ready to go. We also have our guest who will be joining us via Zoom. We have two of them. One of them is Olugbenga George, who is a journalist, will be joining us via Zoom. And also we've got Mr. Splendor, who is an activist, also will be joining us via Zoom. And just to let you know that we have some big talking points from the Auchi Polytechnic, talking about the education sector, where Salisu Shehu Umar, who is the rector of that Polytechnic, was being assessed and monitored as regards, facilities in that school and what he has done to upgrade the Auchi Polytechnic. We'll be looking at that talking point also. Just before we do all that, we'll go for a quick break. When we return from the break, the desk hits the ground running. Stay with us. right, really sorry we are starting to be behind schedule due to some technical issues beyond our control. Trying to get our Zoom up and running so that we can get our guest who were supposed to join us via Zoom, but apparently not working. But the first big talking point, we're looking at the leader of the military junta in Niger Republic, General Abdurrahmani Tiani, has pledged that none of the three Sahel countries will seek readmission to the Economic Community of West African States. He also affirmed that the junta will never release the deposed President Mohamed Bazoum, who was taken hostage following the July 26, 2023 coup in the country. On January 27, 2024, Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger announced their plans to withdraw from the membership of the Economic Community of West African States, despite repeated efforts to reconcile these countries. Let's look at the big talking point. Abdurrahmani Tiani saying that, okay, they will never, ever return back to the ECOWAS bloc, and also making the threat of not releasing Bazoum. What does this mean to the entire process, especially with ECOWAS really pushing to get them back on board?
As funny as it may sound, but the reality is that these are the military experts that are speaking. So you understand that they are not being compelled by the feelings of civilians or what the people really feel. So they have taken their decisions, but there are no economists. Sometimes, how the military takes decisions, they don't care about the processes. They don't want to know the impact. They don't want to know what this may cause, economically, socially, and otherwise. So for the fact that they have taken the decisions, they must take so many things into consideration. And ECOWAS, again, has failed because these guys are not just coming out to say that they have withdrawn. They are telling you that nothing will make them to return back again. So it means that it's a hard decision, and it seems that some other countries that they have consulted, they have tried to take leverage on. They have discussed. So maybe this country or this support or foreign aid or somewhere.
Okay, talking about the foreign aid, we had the secretary media secretary of the Russian embassy, Yuri, coming out to make a statement that Russia in no way influenced these three countries because Russia follows diplomatic processes. Do you think, judging by what he said, there might be some influence from the Russian side for Russia to even come out to want to defend itself?
Yeah, absolutely. You understand that these guys cannot just take the decision. These are the decisions that is hard to take. For them to have the boldness. It means that there's somebody somewhere, something somewhere is giving you the confidence. For you to come out to say that, because you are boldly speaking that go with whatever you have, go with your benefits, go with the things that were taken advantage as being a member of ECOWAS. So it is the top decisions, and of course one may that we are not kids, to feel that we are just having that boldness for nothing's sake. So there must be something on ground.
And the fact that initially there was this cry about the people suffering and the hardship, especially when Nigeria locked its borders, they were not getting power supply. The economy was going down. Does it actually mean that the people are no longer crying? So does it mean they're getting some aid somewhere?
Absolutely. Also, the fact that the people are happy. It means that the few resources that they had, that's the problem. Look at the country Nigeria that we are today. You understand that the resources that we have is capable of trying to manage every of the population that we have in this country. But due to corruption, due to the fact that things and the processes are not doing well, so some few people are now enriching themselves and living at the expense of others. So it means that the resources that they have, if well managed as it is right now, can go around. People can be happy. What do the people really want? They just want the basic things. They just want the basic
steady power supply, security, food.
So in Nigeria, we're giving them light and they have taken the light. They will find their way of restoring their light because the corruption has stopped and the resources is able for them to be able to partner with whatever foreign countries or whatever they can actually to bring back. So that is
what does this mean for ECOWAS? Wouldn't this be the beginning of the end of the ECOWAS bloc?
Exactly.
If these three Sahel countries are able to succeed and break away and life actually transforms, wouldn't this encourage other countries to say, if these military juntas in these countries can get this job done and life is going smoothly, should we follow suit?
Exactly. The history of ECOWAS, came from the grounds that people, were trying to come together. the countries were trying to come together to help themselves, economically, socially, and otherwise. They were able to do trading, inter-trading and all of that. But now that, sometimes they say, we are now wise. Some people are now wise. Nigeria are wise. Mali are now wise and all of that. So it means that these guys have been able to prove the fact that, within themselves, they can be able to do so many things by themselves. Look at the era of technology. So they are leveraging also, they will leverage also on technology to be able to get, support and aid from somewhere without you really having to rely on the ECOWAS as a bloc. So it means that ECOWAS, it's time for you to look back at your policies, look back at, things that you were doing before, look back at, you stop doing whatever, the agenda of ECOWAS 20 years ago, many decades ago. Look at the fact that we are in the 21st century. There are realities of 21st century facing the countries. You understand that you need to speak at the language that people can be able to understand. So the moment where people are not really feeling your impact within themselves, they sometimes want to take the decision of being alone. So what those countries are doing is a threat, because other countries may say, oh, as we said, these other countries have been able to do it alone. Why can't we do it alone? Even Nigeria itself, the only thing that is covering Nigeria is the fact that, the ECOWAS chairman is the president of the country, and for the fact that it seems that military and the executive are, are in cooperation. The moment we have
you smile when you say they're in cooperation. What does that mean?
And because in this country that we are finding the fact that generals are even more richer than some politicians, and that's the issue that we're having.
Okay,
so they're also being part of the corrupt processes that we're talking of. Sometimes, if you look at the locations of the, of the armed forces, you quite be wild because of the allocations.
Especially when the junior officers are crying that they do not get
absolutely
the time when they're supposed to.
Yes.
And can we use the example of Brutai? After he left office, he was just made an ambassador to get a covering. Does that give us an idea of what's happening?
Yeah, armed forces have been politicized. Sorry to say this. Of course, not just being sorry, because sometimes people are being promoted on the ranks of religion. People are now being promoted on the rank of ethnicity and all of that. And it's also godfatherism. It's also, so it means that our political class, our president, our governors, or whatever people behind, the appointment of service chiefs, have a way of trying to, go into the system to do what they want. And these are the bits that these guys will come in to do. They will do the bits of the politicians. So it means that, the location that they even give to them is questionable because they don't even utilize it. If you look at the fact that you have to go and purchase ammunition and all of that for you to tackle the issues of insecurity.
We are
still having all of this. If you look at the budget, you will have wealth. The fact that a policeman standing on the road some of the policemen does not have bullets on their, on their machines. So how would they be able to tackle emergencies? You look at the army, those you've sent to the forest to fight. Some of them does not even have, the capacity to cover themselves, and you are well equipped. Look at what other countries are doing, Tony. You understand that we are far behind them, and these are the bodies that government are putting a lot of funds, trying to address the issue. So when the moment you see that these guys are eating fat, at the expense of the Nigerians' peace and security, it means that they are not also protecting us, they are protecting themselves.
Okay, let's still talking about Niger, but how sad, or what do you think is the likely implication when Mohamed Bazoum is said would not be released? Why are they holding on to Bazoum? Is Bazoum like a debate? Are they holding him to say, okay, in case there's a military intervention, if we hold Bazoum will be a bait for to push ECOWAS or any military intervention backwards? Is that the debate?
Yeah, you may also understand. First, we have to disagree with the people of Niger. The man in question, is not struggling for power. He was
why scared of?
Yeah, he was elected. So I feel there are only, because you quite understand that there will be some cabals even in the military that are planning or that are detaining this the president. So it means that sometimes it happens that if the president is out, he may be able to re-strategize. You understand, a man that have freedom, can be able to, think outside the box, to bounce back and all of that. You understand that they still have loyalists. Even when he was betrayed by his orderly, at the government house. So it means that away from the orderly, he also has a lot of people that are loyal to him. So it means that if the president is being released, he might be able to have some plan, even call some faction of, of the military, for them to strike a coup, and then something else might be able to upturn, and then things go backward, because even ECOWAS are doing their politicking in
but is the life of Bazoum in danger?
Yeah, nothing will happen to Bazoum, I think. Nothing. I don't really think they can harm Bazoum. So it's just a trait of trying to, put him away because of the politics of ECOWAS. Because ECOWAS are up to something. You might not know what ECOWAS are doing on the ground, so, for them to be able to, take him out.
But don't you think if the way it is now, if an military intervention is being imagined or tried, there might be bloodletting?
If what?
If they decide to go use military intervention,
yes.
Don't you think we might see a bloody scene?
Yes, of course.
Should that be an option at all?
It's not. We have war and diplomacy as options, in negotiations. You understand? So using war, cannot work because sometimes these are the people. You have to understand the environment that you're going to, and the people in support of you. The machineries that you're using will not just work alone. You have to internalize, to internalize their structures, to fit in. So it means that you need to recruit people.
Is it because it's coming late? If they had done it initially, do you think that would have succeeded?
It's about the main point. The point is that the people of Niger are happy with the way they are. I think that's just the main point. They are happy because they feel they were liberalized. They feel they had their freedom. They feel they were in a bondage of a government or an administration. So these are the issue. Ideology works. So the military have been able to take advantage of the fact that the people really wanted them. So it's always a struggle between the military and government. And the government of the day. So it's a war against the government of the day.
But why is ECOWAS not learning from the fact that the people were tired of Bazoum's leadership and how long?
We will never learn.
So can we say technically ECOWAS is also supporting bad governance?
Obviously, which day that we lost the president of a particular country. We've just lost a president. Yes, Namibia. Yes, fantastic. Look at the vice president that have been sworn into office. Still an aged man. What happened to the young, population of that country? Can they have a vibrant? We don't have some vibrant, a young man in the parliament. We don't have someone that from the presidency, even from your party or whatever. They could have been able to, So the point is that
is it about culture? Is that when
I don't even know what's the
feel like? The older, the better for.
Quite maybe some people may come to argue that even in the US, Joe Biden is also old. But
the predecessor, Trump was also an old.
One may begin to argue that way, but you understand that these guys, they have an agenda that are pursuing. In the United States, every president has a vision that was already written down many years ago for them to be able to track.
And the parties also have ideologies. The Republicans
and the It is in Nigeria we don't have party ideology. Where someone will move from this other party to this other party, I will still be able to go into political office and then drive. But over there, as you said, they work with ideology. Ideology works. There's a standard that if you have become the US president, this is what you have to achieve in line with the goal of 2030 or of your party. But over here, we do not have that. So it's about people struggling to get power, to get money out of government covers, to enrich themselves. So when this is being prioritized, and then our elders, our fathers, who were meant to relax, to give the young people the opportunity for them to, use their youth strength, to lead, and have this government power. Sometimes they even wrongly or indirectly or through corruption, get into office, and this is also stuff that are pushing threat to our democracy. So it's time, as you said, that ECOWAS, even African leaders need to understand that, people are tired and sick of all of this recycling of powers within themselves, and of course corruptions in the system, in the political system, and not making people really feel the essence of government. The moment when people lose the ideology of government, the feeling of democracy, it means that people will always have an option. Because life is about choice.
Sure. Well said. All right, let's move on to the next talking point. We're still on the global scene. We just dealt with Niger Republic. Now let's go to Gaza. The Gaza crisis. We're still looking for peace in Gaza. And just this morning, it broke that Israeli spy chiefs in Egypt for peace talks. Let's look at the Gaza crisis. Already this morning, we had the ambassador of Israel and Palestine on the global morning on global television talking about how now they are ready for peace. Now we have the spy chiefs of Israel going to Egypt. How do you see this peace talk going, especially with Hamas, the fact that they are still striking Gaza, still hell-bent on decimating Hamas till they surrender and also release their hostages? Do you see these two things happening?
They're quite very frankly, these guys are not ready for peace talk, because
the Israelis or the Palestinians?
The Palestinians are not ready for peace talks.
So are you saying they've not hammered Hamas enough?
There are people that have been killed more, and they have been held in hostage, and it's quite to them. The struggle for powers. I mean, struggle for who is doing the international system is also coming out to play here. So to them, they are not ready. They probably want to really have a full justification of paying back. What Israel have actually done to them. So I feel peace is quite very far from them. And it's time that...
but the fact that Israel is even agreeing to go to Egypt for peace talks, and Qatar is also the one brokering the deal now, not the U.S. Are we likely to see probably Israel and the Palestinians feel like, okay, this is going to be a fair deal since it's the Qatari without the U.S.?
But the U.S. is supposed to be here.
No, but the fact that Palestinians feel already that the U.S. is already siding with the Israel, and which there are no apologies to that. We know that the U.S. is always an ally of Israel. What will be your expectations in these talks? Already the first ceasefire offer was rejected by Israel, saying it looked like Hamas was trying to dictate to them how the war was going to end.
Secondly, even Israel's offers are, they have been afraid, of the offer that Israel may begin to have, because these are the guys that you understand that they are still priding themselves, to be the powerful, to be able to, they can be able to do anything that they want to, they can be able to get anything that they want to get, and how and when. So their offers may be a diplomatic means, trying to get something out of somewhere. So it's not really, the peace is very far from we've not gotten to the point. These are the people that they want to fight, to the end, and nobody understands where the end will stop. So they may use their diplomacy. I mean, they may use their strategy, different strategies, different offer, or different approach, to getting this done. But
who should be more eager for peace?
Who should be more eager for peace?
Between these two, especially if you look at the death toll.
I think the moment where when one party, because you understand the fight between two strong people two people who claim to be stronger, where the moment where one side is weak, when you've lost resources, when you've lost your personnel,
then hunger because in Nigerian civil war, hunger was what they used in making the Biafrans submit.
Exactly. So the moment when this is, but the point is that both countries are having, they're having some support, from somewhere, wedging themselves, to get this. But the point is that they will get to the end of this, and when they get to the end of this, and then the reality will face. So from there, we'll know who really wants peace. For now, they are just trying to...
All right, we're just hoping there's going to be a peaceful resolution of the crisis in Gaza as we wrap it up on the global scene. And now let's moving on to the local scene. But before we do that, we'll go for a very quick break. When we return from the break, we'll be looking at issues across Nigeria, from the First Lady's assurance to Nigerians that the hardship is going to be over soon. How soon is what Nigerians are asking. We've done this for 8 months now. 7 months plus, I guess, and we're looking for the end where the light shall shine. So these are another talking points is what will come to you after this break. Stay with us. All right, you're welcome to the most compelling show, talking about the desk on Global Television, and we are ready to enter the other side of the divide, talking about the national issues making the rounds on the global scene. We looked at the ECOWAS membership, Togo, Niger, and the other countries saying they would not be seeking a readmission into the ECOWAS bloc, and we're also looking at the Gaza crisis as Israel spy chiefs head to Cairo, Egypt, for peace talks as they look for the solution, the two-state solution for the Gaza crisis. Let's talk about the First Lady who has assured Nigerians when she visited Kano, the Emir of Kano, that the hardship is going to be over soon. For Mrs. Oluremi Tinubu, that was a very strategic message sent by the Emir of Kano. Does that tell us how insistent Nigerians are and how much they believe that the government of the day does not have an idea what Nigerians are going through? And do you think the First Lady would be sending back this message in good time and in a very strong term?
Yeah, personally, I feel it's time that anybody related to the presidency, should be able to hide themselves from cameras and hide their faces in shame and go back to their drawing board, to come up with strategies that can actually take Nigeria from where we are. What are Nigerians asking for currently? Give us food to eat. That's what the Nigerians are asking for. Make life easier for us. The moment where we are not even facing infrastructure, the moment we are not even looking at tracking a lot of development to the country, the moment we are not even asking of so much, we're only saying, give us food and protect our farms, protect our lands for safety purposes. And the president's wife, with respect to her, she has been a senator at the National Assembly. This is someone who understands the plight or the challenges of Nigerians during the Buhari's administration, because he was at the Senate. So you happen to be the wife of the president. You should understand that the very concern of Nigerians has always been currently about issues of cost of living. So issues like this have not been tackled by the presidency, rather than excuses, rather than telling Nigerians to keep on exercising patience. But we have not heard where senator salary have been slashed. We have not heard where the presidency has reduced
the fuel.
Not just the fuel, has reduced the convoy in his car. We are still having Emilio Khan going about all of a lot of trips, sending the presidential trip to go and watch the finals, doing this, that, going to France, taking a lot of delegation to COP28 in Dubai. All of these are the issues that Nigerians are not finding it very friendly. So sacrifices have not been made by the government. So the wife of the president needs to understand this. Is she not eating well? Is she not driving cars and having fleet of so many wealth? Has she been able to? What are the efforts? Nigerians want to begin to see the effort made by government. That if we are hungry, all of us have to be hungry. That's the excess of leadership. So keep on, coming out to tell Nigerians, the situation is tough. Things will get better. There will be lights tomorrow. There will be.
Do you think they're being this economical with the truth? The fact that they're not putting timelines to say if she had said in October.
They don't have an action plan. The current government does not have an immediate action plan. Do you know what it means to be the presidency? Presidency, you have the powers in your hands. You look at a sector that is not working, and you make a decision, you take a decision, you make an action, and it works. So the moment that they keep on giving us excuses, that's not government. I can give an excuse as an individual. You can give an excuse as an individual, but government is not meant to give an excuse. Government controls the system of where everything works, the private and the public. So what is the presidency doing? What is analysis? What has he seen so far that he cannot raise this issue? If you cannot work it out, can't you step aside and allow somebody to be a president for 1 week and see if you can do something differently? Recently, I think a president of a still an African country resigned, and then it was on the grounds that she was trying to protect those people that were released from the criminals that raped a particular child and all of that. There's a story behind all of that. But I dignity to the fact that she acknowledged that she swore an oath. And what she did was not in alignment with her oath. She said she cannot be the president again, so she has to resign. So at the moment where people can begin to see governance at that level, that's when we are. So the wife of the president, no, is not sensitive right now. That we wanted you as you are going to that Kano, as you were going to Kano, you would have taken, bags of rice, food items to go and share to the people. They are capable of doing this. we need to, people need to begin to see effort, made by. The Nigerians are tired. Just like you walking in the street, you find somebody, who begs you for what to eat and drink, and you tell the person, be patient, I'll see you next week. The moment you leave him or her, you are putting in the danger of either going into somebody's farm or shop, to thieves. So what do you need to do? Hey, you do not have much. Yes, I do not have much, but I have everything that I can do to give to you.
But the first lady has much. That's the difference.
Exactly. Senators have much. Ministers have much. House of Reps members have much. All of them have much. Yeah, what do I have?
All right, leaving the first lady, and we're hoping. But let's be sincere. Do we think the first lady will actually pass the message to Mr. President? What kind of message is she going to pass when she's aware?
If she's not aware?
Now, let's assume she's not aware. Yeah. How do you think, have we seen anything to suggest that, yes, she passed the message last night?
Yeah.
In the other room?
Yeah, of course.
Because I was expecting in the next month.
This person is not the first lady of the high room. She has an antecedent. So,
what do you mean when she has an antecedent?
A senator that represented the Secretariat district, so she's a politician. Okay. She's not just someone who was just a wife, who is just a wife of the president.
So we shouldn't expect the message was passed.
Yeah, we should expect more from her. That's what I'm trying to stress. She's not just like a normal first lady. You've been a politician. You've been at the speaking for the people. You should be able to understand. You should be able to take decisions too. Like the real office of the vice of the president wife should be effective in your time, because you've been in public office. You've been a governor's wife.
Is it possible for us to have seen the first lady take the initiative, say, okay, with my NGO or the NGOs under me, the civil society women under me, the women groups under me, I'm going to, on my own part, as a contribution towards alleviating the suffering of Nigerians, every NGO in every state, I'm going to be releasing 100,000 bags of rice or X amount of this, and it's going to continue for the next 6 months. Is this something impossible? We're going to pay school fees for children of social vulnerable groups. We're going to release social amount of this from the office of the first lady. Is it impossible?
Why is it not possible? These are what we are saying. Anthony, if you know the wealth that our political offices are accumulating, you understand that if all of them can be very sincere to Nigerians, you see the issue that we are?
Each of them can take, at least 2 of them can take their various states.
Exactly. They can take care of the various states for this period. Understand? So the moment where these efforts are not being made, there are no tangible steps being made so far. There are no tangible steps other than telling Nigerians to keep on being patient. It's a wrong word. It's a taboo right now to speak to Nigerians with patience. When people are going to the street because of hunger, blocking the road, stopping the economic movement for that day. Kano, you are taking this issue to Kano. You understand how?
Would we say it was a lucky visit? Because we were told that police and everybody, there was serious security check.
Yes.
If the government was doing well, would they need that security to fend the people off rather than allow the people welcome her?
That's the same issues that we are still actually facing. If the president wants to travel, you understand a lot of security that will be sent from Abuja, with a lot of bills, the DSS and all of the armed forces, to deploy to a state that the president is going to. You understand that the first lady.
If he was doing well, did we need that?
If a country is working peacefully, Nigeria is a very good country. Can't you see what happened during the Super Eagles? AFCON. Nigeria is a very happy people. We are very loving people. So at the moment where you need to understand that, just put things to work, put things well. Nigerians will support what you are doing. So the issues of security, they know what is a problem of the security challenge of this country. So the moment they are not able to do things like government, because the common Nigerian does not understand. The common Nigerian does not know what is there. So the moment government are not doing things like government, Anthony, me and you understand that we are in the state of anarchy.
All right, let's move on. And we're not trying to incite the people. We're just trying to state the obvious in terms of what's playing out in the country. If you look at the protests across different states and the First Lady visiting Kano and the Emir telling her to tell the president to deal with hunger, and the people are suffering, just speaks loud of how much people are going through, because the emir is the voice of the people. All right, let's look at Wigwe's death. Now we know that there's a new woman who is going to be in charge. Give us your take as regards this new woman who is going to take charge of Access Holdings. Was the replacement swift enough? And do you think we've got someone? And how big is the shoes for her to carry in this job she has taken over?
Yeah, first it's about preparation.
We're talking about Bolaji Agbede, who is now the group CEO of the holdings, and looking at how big the task is going to be for her to fill in.
Yeah, she was an assistant general manager that was responsible for managing the bank's portfolio, of the chemical trading companies. She had actually learned the job, for so many years in the banking sector. And then she was now later elevated to the role of Access Holding PLC Funding Executive Director, giving business support, where she played a pivotal role, in the successful integration of business units in the transformation of the company's culture. So it's about preparation, meeting opportunity. She was prepared, for the task. And as you understand, a business will continue even if you leave this world today. So that is also a message to Nigerians, or a message to business owners. Do not run a business like an individual business. Let it not be that without you, business cannot go on. So it's what has happened. Sad to the family of Mr. Albert is a sad one, and the Nigerians are quite so much sympathizing with him, because from the track record we find that the man was a hardworking man, a man who left GTB Bank to start his own bank. It's a testimony of resilience, a testimony of I can do spirit of a Nigerian man at 35 years. So Nigerians,
in 2002 he got the support of this
he had a partner,
man, and trusted in his dream, and he built it from the scratch, and now becomes one of the biggest banks in Nigeria. And we also have details of reports saying he has spotted a lot of talented people in different sectors of the economy who he has invested in, and they've turned out great Nigerians also. So he's also helped a lot of Nigerians.
His track record speaks volume. I didn't really, he's not really a media friendly.
Initially, I used to think he was from Kenya because his finesse, and the way he
so I didn't really pay attention to the man, but due to this sad note, I've been able to pay attention, and it's quite very fortunate that Nigerians keep on losing good men. Good look at the university, a world-class university, university. It was about setting up. It was a fantastic idea. According to
I think how big a litmus test is this for Bolaji and Cole to be able to keep Access Holdings running, and also the Wigwe University. How big is this litmus test to ensure that this legacy doesn't die? Does the federal government have a role to play?
As I said, I've also read a report where whatever he was doing, he was not doing alone. He has a board, a strong board that he brought, for the university. So he had a structure on ground. All what he needed to do was, to take a decision on the name, take a decision of the location, and all of that. So he has a board that is driving the force of the university. So it means that even when he's not around, now that he has passed on, the board, will keep on doing that. And of course, from the interview I was able to watch yesterday, one of the board members said that it's now time for them to even do even more better than what the idea he has. So it's also a testimony to the fact that he has a good team, that works with him. So I think she picking up the big shoe, quite a very big shoe, is the fact that she might actually be, very close to the system. So she knows the job, she knows where they were, and where she will take, Access Bank to. And we must also appreciate the patriotic Nigerians, because on Sunday, when the news broke out, you understand, on Saturday when the news broke out, some Nigerians were eager, is my money, you yet comment like, is my money safe, is my money safe? So until when the bank, came out with a PR stunt, to tell that,
to calm
the nerves of many Nigerians, that things have not just gotten worse. So it means that Nigerians are also patriotic, to bear with the system, to bear with the bank, because if it was the banking of those years, as
everybody go pull out your monies.
Everybody will pull out their resources, because it wasn't digitalized, so many things would have gone wrong. So, but we feel now that the Access Bank has done well, the system is still working smoothly, and we really, regret the loss of this Mr. Abbott and the wife and the son. So it's
our heart goes out to them from the desk crew. We're saying may their soul rest in perfect peace, and I wish the entire empire all the very best. And hopefully they come do business with us. That'll be great.
Yes.
Call for them to come do business with the desk. All right, as we wrap up the program, let's look at the fraud case. We've got Mama Boko Haram and others to be jailed for the fraud. Then, for you, how do you see this panning out? Are they jailed for the fraud, or the fact that they are also linked with terrorism? They've been linked with terrorism because for you to be named Mama Boko Haram, I don't think that's a good name to have. And you now have fraud case in between. So definitely you're going behind bars.
Yeah, these are the problems. When the EFCC came out some weeks ago to say that some religious leaders,
were linked
to issues of terrorism in this country. Is also a trait. To the fact that it might be, some individuals are also contributing to the fact that government are doing their best. They are also pushing against what government are doing. Some people are sitting down there, conniving, because as I said, there's no how anything can be carried out without the people, without having information, without having someone on ground, spicing for you and doing all of this work for you. That is how mayhem is being caused. For instance, you want to attack. You can't just go carry your arms and start going to attack. You might actually gotten some information on when the door will be open.
The right time.
The right time for you to be able to execute. So it means that somebody within have feed information. So if we're having people like this that have been caught as the issue of trying to hold money for the Boko Haram, the terrorists, the action must be taken. And she's not just the first suspect that we are having.
But the fact that the number of years, 10 years, is that enough? Shouldn't it be more? Shouldn't they be cooling their heels for a lifetime behind bars? Because these are treasonable offences.
To serve as also as a deterrent yes. to others. The power is in the state. The power is in the government, because issues like this will keep on happening. And then if actions is not well taken, and then if some people don't understand that there are implications to what I want to do, they might not learn their lesson. So if courts must have to review, that judgment. They must do. And if also they had appeal, probably because there are some cases like that where they want to give 15 years or 20 years, the victims will have to, appeal, and then sometimes a sympathetic judge, might use his discretion, to reduce a year. So it might actually be that's what played out the court. But whatever it may be, let it serve as a deterrent to others, so that people can begin to learn lessons and then to avoid all of this thing. Because we just a peaceful place is just what we are looking for. If we can achieve this, I think Nigeria will be great. All right,
well said, and that's how much we're going to give to you on today's edition of the program. The desk, and a big thank you to Michael Edikan. Always a pleasure having him in the studio, spitting fire, and we're hoping that the federal government won't be coming after your shoes. All right, so that's how we call it a wrap on today's edition, and tomorrow is going to be another exciting one. And make sure you keep watching Global Television. It's Africa's finest. Good evening.